So all of these images were taken while the camera was in auto mode, meaning I just pointed my camera, pressed the shutter button, and this is what I ended up with. The camera has a very quick autofocus as well, so you're literally just pointing, shooting. I don't know if this is considered to be a point and shoot camera. I think it serves that purpose really well when traveling because of just how simple and straightforward it is. So in this video, I'm going to be focusing on the aspects of the camera that I think a beginner would be interested in, reasons why a beginner might be interested in buying this camera. Traditionally, I am a film girl. I love film photography. Usually when I'm traveling, I have my film camera with me. And I do still always bring film cameras. I just tend to shoot film a lot less these days, especially with the cost of buying the film and getting it developed. It's just too much. I think Portra 400 is going for like 25 a roll or something. I don't know. I can't afford it anymore. So I've turned to this camera to kind of be my travel camera, I guess you could say, where my film camera was my travel camera. So I originally got the Canon G7X Mark II. I feel like it's such a mouthful. For vlogging. I brought it to Italy with me last summer. I was there for 2 months doing like a study abroad program. And my intention was to vlog with it. I didn't really plan on using it for photography. That's what my film cameras were for. I brought 2 film cameras, one point and shoot film camera and one like manual SLR camera, which is just, as much as I love having those cameras with me, they were not convenient traveling. Initially, I was shooting video with it, and then at one point I was just like, I just want to leave my camera at home, my film camera's at home, and I'm just gonna bring my Canon camera. I started taking pictures with it because my iPhone, I don't know. I have an iPhone 11. I don't like the quality of it. I decided to just take some pictures with the Canon and just see, you know, how they were. And I was actually blown away with how beautiful and crisp the images were because I just never thought to use this camera as like a photo camera. And all things considered, I really didn't need to do much to get started with this camera. Like, I took it out, turned it on, and just shot with it, and it performed like perfectly, honestly, from the very beginning. So number one is the size of this camera. It's extremely light. It fits in almost any pocket, any bag. Are there smaller point and shoots? Yes. Are there lighter point and shoots? Yes. It's not super small or super light, but considering the power that the camera does have, I think it's very light and very small for what you get out of it. It's extremely easy to just bring anywhere with you, running around. If you have no bag and you're just carrying it in your pocket, you won't even know it's there. I think that the size compared to the quality of photo that you get out of it is one of the best aspects of this camera. Once you get the camera kind of set up, you set the settings to where you want them to be, which is also very straightforward, you're kind of ready to go, and you don't need to do much more, especially if it's on auto mode, which is what I only shoot in, which I know most photographers would cringe at the thought of like only shooting in auto, but I trust this camera so much because it's never let me down, not one single time. So yeah, auto mode works for this, which is why I think it's great for not just beginners, but beginners who don't really have the intention of like becoming photographers. It's not necessarily a hobby. They more just want a camera that's going to let them leave their trips with beautiful pictures to share with friends and family. So yeah, that's what I think this camera is great for. This is a very versatile camera. It does picture just as beautifully as it does video. Like I said, I got this camera to be a vlog camera. I can see myself in the little screen thing. It has a screen that flips up, which is really nice. So it's a great vlog camera. And so if you're someone who is a content creator but not necessarily like a photographer, but you still need pictures for like thumbnails or for Instagram or just whatever you need pictures for, high quality pictures for, this camera can serve both purposes very easily, very cleanly. I love this camera. It's earned its keep. It's definitely earned its keep. I have some cameras that, you know, they're expensive and they're great, but when it comes down to the convenience and the practicality of them, they don't always do the job when traveling. When it comes to shooting video, you put the camera in video mode, you press the red record button, and you're set. The camera like balances out for you, it straightens out the frame, which I think that might be a setting, but it's easy to do. It's easy to turn that setting on, but it straightens out your frame for you. The autofocus is great. Honestly, I don't think I've ever used a camera with such quick autofocus. Maybe like there's some really nice, okay, there are some really nice DSLRs that have quick autofocus, but like I said, considering the size of this camera, the autofocus is more than you could really ask for, honestly, I think. It performs super well in low lighting, so if you're at dark restaurants or like just any dark place, shooting at nighttime, traveling at night, whatever, I think that this camera shoots beautifully in the dark. I don't know what the ISO specs are specifically, but like I said, put it in auto mode, put it in the film, put it in the video mode, and it really does all the exposing for you, and it's quite good. That's like the one thing with cameras is they can be great cameras in the daylight, but as soon as the sun goes down and there's less light, things get a little grainy. I find that this camera does not pick up too much grain, which is great if you want crisp shots, obviously. Another thing that's really convenient about this camera is that it has Wi-Fi capabilities. If you can connect to Wi-Fi with your phone, you can get your pictures from this camera to your phone, which is great. I use that feature all the time, especially when traveling. Thing is you don't always have Wi-Fi when you're traveling, so in that case it is useful to bring, like, I have a little phone dongle thing, like a SD card, so I can just put the SD card into the dongle, put it in my phone, and that works too. But I find that the Wi-Fi is way more reliable than the dongle is. Sometimes it doesn't work as well for some reason, probably because I have a cheap one, but whatever. I would really highly recommend this camera for that reason, especially if you are like a more beginner shooter, or you're just like using this for like a casual vacation. You're probably not super concerned with like getting it into Photoshop, getting into Lightroom, taking 3 hours to edit your landscape photo or that picture of that painting or your pizza in Italy. Like, you're more concerned with just like capturing the memory and getting it onto your phone and being able to share it with people. If that's the priority, then I think this camera is great for that, very convenient in that way, and also has not ever let me down in terms of the transferring of images either. You do have to get an app. It's called like Canon Connect or something, I don't know, I'll like write it here. So you do have to get the app, but the app is pretty decent for a photo transfer app. It works pretty smoothly, so yeah, I would say that the camera wins on that front, definitely. The biggest downside to this camera would probably be the price. It is not a cheap camera if you are not a photographer. If you are an amateur, even a hobbyist or a professional, paying $600-700 for a camera that's not bad at all, considering you can pay 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever K for a really nice camera. 700, 600 isn't bad. I bought mine refurbished, which really helps. But what I will say, it makes sense to invest in a camera like this if you are going to be doing a lot of traveling. If this is just for like one vacation, one trip to Disney World or whatever, then yeah. I don't know if this camera is ideal for just 1 or 2 trips, especially since like chances are your iPhone, if you have one of the newer iPhones, your iPhone does just as good of a job. Not just as good, but it competes. And so it's not worth spending all the money if this is going to be a camera that you use once or twice on 2 or 3 trips and that's that. But if you are actually doing a lot of traveling or have like a long trip planned and you want something that's a little more like refined than the iPhone camera, which honestly it's kind of hard because the iPhone cameras these days are really nice. I want a new iPhone. So the iPhone cameras are really nice, but I think this is a great investment. Like I said, if you're a content creator or a beginner traveler and you plan on doing a lot of traveling, I think this camera is well worth the money, especially since you can get a cheaper camera, but I don't think you can get a cheaper camera that can compete with a newer iPhone camera, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong, but for this price point, I think that you're getting a really good camera, and if you're trying to move away from like iPhone photography and creating content with your iPhone, I think this camera is very good for that. I'm very happy that I decided to invest the money in it. I have plenty of other cameras that I could take film, digital. I have a DSLR that shoots very beautiful photos, but none of those cameras beat the convenience and the one-time price film. I was just blown away with the quality of the images that this camera gave me. I would have never expected to rely on this camera so heavily while traveling and doing my photography. And I'm really happy that I decided to just like, you know what, let's leave the film cameras at home for a little while. Let's just see what this one can do. I would recommend it to any content creator, any beginner photographer, any beginner like traveler. If you're just looking to like dip your feet in, something to take high quality pictures so you can send it home to your friends and family, this camera will do the job and then some, for sure. So that is my video. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you're able to get some beautiful, crisp summer travel photos with this camera. Most of the videos on my channel have been filmed with this camera, so if you want to check out other videos to get a better idea of how it vlogs, then feel free. But have a great day and see you later.